the announcement that you have to be 20, or like the speakers will be 20. I'm not 20, but I'm almost 20.
That's no issue, man.
So yeah, growing up, I would start from when I was in school. So when I was in preschool, I had this really lovely preschool teacher. Her name was Miss Lewis. At the time, I was living in a different state, and so I was moving back and forth a lot between my main state and then California, where I was staying at the time. And so I was like having a hard time like adapting, going back and forth. And my preschool teacher, she was just always there for me. I still keep in contact with her. She was just like super nice. And I remember I was always like reading or like looking at math problems and stuff like really early in life. So like now in preschool, and then when I went to elementary school, I was just academically advanced. And so when I was in preschool, I used to say, oh, like, these kids are dumb. They do not know what I know. Like, I'm just way better than them. That's what I used to think when I was younger. And then my preschool teacher, she told me, she was like, well, you know, there are some things that you don't know too. And I was like, why would she say that? But as I grew up, I began to see like there are things I don't know. So I kind of like scaled back on, you know, thinking that way towards the students. But I always was like, I don't like kids and I would never want to be around kids. That partially is because my mom has, at the time, she had 5 kids. All of us were girls too. And so I was like, no, too many kids, I don't really like kids. And so it got to a point when I was in the 4th grade where my mom, she pulled me out of school because she felt like I wasn't like learning what she felt I needed to be learning. So I was homeschooled for 4 years. And so I really enjoyed it. I was able to like learn at my own pace and learn about what I wanted to while still following like the state guidelines and stuff. But I realized once I went back to school that it was nice learning, but since I wasn't really around other people, except my younger sister who was also being homeschooled, I got really, what's the word? I'm not as social as I was previously. So when I was younger, and even now, I still like to talk. Like I just like to talk, but it's hard for me to initiate conversations with people and just be outgoing in general. Like, so I was really nervous going back. I was still in the same area as where my elementary school was. So when I went back there, I knew some of the people, and so it was still very interesting. I just kind of like slid in, and it kind of felt just like in elementary school, except I wasn't as pompous. Like I wasn't like, oh, I'm better than you. I was just kind of like, I'm trying to get through. That's how I felt in the moment. And so I had a lot of fun in high school. And then I was like, I want to go into international relations when I graduate. And so I was doing all of that, but honestly, I wasn't entirely sure. I just knew I wanted to travel. And so in high school, my sophomore year, there was a technical school where you can learn trades while you're still in high school. And so I went there for career exploration, and there was a health science class and information technology class, and you know, all these different classes. And I was like, wow, like there's so much stuff I could do. And so I decided I wanted to be an EMT. I come back the next year for the EMT class, but they said that EMT was a senior class and I had to take firefighting. And so all junior year I took firefighting classes. And then into my senior year I was like, that felt like a waste of my time. So I went back to my main high school and I was like, I want to be an English teacher, but I don't want to teach kids because I still don't like kids. I want to teach high schoolers. And so I'm like, you know, they're a little bit older, they're teetering adulthood. That's what I want to do. But when I graduated, there was a lot of problems once again, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I know I want to go to college. I've always wanted to go to college, but I don't know what I want to do. So I went to a 2-year university where I could learn the general requirements for my degree, and that's where I'm still at right now. But I was really upset because I had my mindset on once I graduate, I'm going to a 4-year university. I'm probably going to be abroad. I'm going to move into my own apartment. Like these big plans I've always had. And so I'm like, you know what, it's whatever. I'm just going to take the classes. When I get to the community college, I need a job because, you know, I had 2 jobs in high school. I didn't keep them for more than 2 months. I'm like, I need a job now because now, like, I'm an adult now. And so I'm looking for jobs on campus because I don't drive. I applied at the library. I'm like, it's quiet, it seems easy. They don't give me the job. And so I'm trying to figure out what I should do. And I see this flyer one day, and it's for the child care service at my school. And I'm like, you know, I don't hate kids. Like, I need this job. That was my mindset because also in high school, I did a lot of volunteering. And one of the things I did was tutor 3rd graders. So that kind of helped calm my dislike for children. So I was like, you know, it's cool. It's just kids. And so I get the job. They hired me the same day I applied. And so I get the job and I'm like, okay, it's fine. The facility is from 6 weeks to 5 years old. So I'm like, who knows what age I'm going to be with. I thought they were going to put me with the older kids. They put me with 2 to 3.5. And everyone talks about the terrible 2s, but I've never been around children. So like, I'm like a little kid. And so I was like, oh, it's probably not that bad. I went and when I first got hired, they was like, oh, what room are you going to? I'm like, I'm going to the moon room. They're like, no. And I was like, no, like, what's that reaction? I got in that room, and the kids bite a lot. They bite the teachers, they bite the other students. They're running, they're climbing on things. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, what did I get myself into? But there were a few kids who were just kind of like calm, like amongst all the rest of the kids. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how do they do it? And so I'm there and I'm trying to get used to all the different children, and they're trying to get used to me because at the time, you know, kids are really on this. And so when I first got hired, I had braces. They're like, what's on your teeth? I'm like, these are braces, they're to straighten my teeth. They're like, oh, you look funny. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I'm trying to teach the kids, I'm trying to read to them, no one wants to listen. But over time, it just got so calm. I think they just kind of got used to me being there. And so I'm just like, guys, like, we have to get this in order. And so I was thinking about changing my degree from international relations to early childhood education. Mm-hmm. And so I went abroad this summer to Korea and, you know, met a bunch of people. And I met this one person, and they were a kindergarten teacher. And I was asking, like, hey, like, how is it? Is it good? Like, is it bad? Like, tell me about it, because I'm working with little kids. And they're like, oh, it's like really good. It's really rewarding. I'm like, okay. So once I came back, I was working with 2 to 3.5, but once I returned back from studying abroad, they moved me to the infant room from 6 weeks to 2. And even more so, I don't know anything about infants. And so I'm dealing with the kids, and I'm seeing, like, from being held and bottle fed to like crawling and walking and talking, just to see the kids, how they're advancing. And it does feel rewarding. Like, and so it made me think, like, maybe I should like pursue this as a career, because it just makes me feel good. Like, God is using me to help the kids. And even like the kids, they don't, you know, to them they're just moving as they feel that they should. But for me, it's like knowing that these kids are, like, say, on track for development goals and reaching milestones, and, you know, just to see them advance and to do better, it feels really rewarding. And so I've looked into early childhood classes, and also my church, they started a tutoring service. And I wasn't going to do it at the time because it felt like it would have been a lot with my workload. But 2 Sabbaths ago, before I left, I was like, I'm just going to try it. I'm going to do it for one day. And then she's like, oh yeah, it's tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay. I come, she assigns me to this little kid, he's in the 2nd grade, and they're doing math. And I always like math. I know a lot of people don't like math. Math is always my favorite subject. And so he's learning about multiplication. And as I'm sitting there talking to him, like telling him the problems, he's like understanding it to a level where like almost like I could at his age. And I'm like, wow, like kids need teachers who can help them or who want to see them succeed. And I know for my preschool teacher, she was always that kind of figure for me, because once I went back to high school, there were a lot of teachers who I felt were like rude to me, or like it just wasn't, I want to see you succeed in life type of energy. And I was like, it makes people dislike learning. And I don't feel like people should dislike learning, because learning is so fast. Like you could actually learn about anything and something interests you. And so I just wanted to be that person for kids. And so I've been at my job for a year now, and I'll probably stay longer before I transfer and try to get my bachelor's. So yeah.
Any question?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm a hair stylist.
That's new.
The first question I want to ask you, how to style this kind of hairstyle? Well, that's a good start. You see, you have been impacted by child care teacher in your early days. And I also learned that you study health science, IT, and you became an English teacher to the preschoolers, is it? Yeah. You see, we have something common. My daughter, it is through my anxiousness. And when she finished her O-level, she told us, Papa, Mommy, I really want to be a childcare teacher. Because her early life was very interesting. At the age of about 3, she will stand at the school gate, not the school gate, the church gate, waiting for little children and carry them to their Sunday school classes. And everybody prophesies over her, open and close inverted comma. This girl, next time when she grow up, she will definitely be something like, taking care of children. They never say anything like childcare teachers and things like that. So then one day, she came to us and said, I'm not going to do my A-level. I'm not going to do my A-level.
A-level is high school.
High school, I'm sorry. A-level here is called high school. She said, Papi, Mommy, I'm not going to do my high school. I'm going to study early childhood. So I said, okay, early childhood. Singapore U, of course, only Singapore U. That time was Polytechnic. She applied Polytechnic, which is also kind of educational.
As a diploma.
As a diploma level. But Singapore Polytechnic got no childcare. And then she took her own initiative to apply for ITE. You explain to her what is ITE. ITE is a lower class kind of education in terms of trade school.
Technical education.
Technical
It's the
education.
Institute of Technical Education.
Yes,
It's
thank
more
you.
for hands-on kind of.
Hands-on.
Yes.
You see, and here I must say my weakness. No, ITE, no. ITE, no. Then I sent her to Australia.
Which part of Australia?
Perth.
Okay.
To study just because the pride of the parent. Here is my weakness. Weakness, I must say weakness. And then over the years, she really loved children and succeed in taking care of children. And 3 months ago, she went to Melbourne to take care of the school there, taking care of children. Here also because she received her education in early childhood. So what my question go back again with this kind of background. You see, yours may be just the same. You may face some struggle. I study IT, I study health science. Why I become an English teacher? You know, for her, she meddled with a few things. She also, you know, in early childhood, she of course studied psychology and all that. So she chose to take care of toddler, want to specialize in toddler. And I was like, okay, quite strange. That's quite strange. So with your development, you can tell us a little bit how you make the switch. Yeah. Maybe I only draw a parallel line. It may be a long question, but I have to tell you a little bit of background. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice to hear from you. Yeah, so nice. And I'll grow my hair.
It's making a switch between careers. I don't know, because honestly, I was thinking about this. On the flight over here to Singapore, I had 2 layovers, both about like 4 hours long. And so I was sitting there, while I was sitting there, I had my computer and I was writing essays for scholarships. And while I was writing one, I was thinking about my ambitions and my goals when I was younger. When I was 7, my grandmother gave me a photo album. And on the front cover of the photo album, I still have it, I wrote down future jobs. And down the list, it had violin teacher and a swim instructor and like all these things that I don't know nothing about. I cannot swim, I cannot play the violin, just a bunch of things. And so I feel like I've always wanted to do something. I know I've always wanted to help people, but then like help them how? And help who? And so I just always jumped. And even since deciding that I want to go into early childhood, I told my mom after watching videos, I'm like, wow, there's this dude flying a plane by himself, like to all the continents. I have to learn how to fly a plane. I was like, I have to become a flight attendant after I got off the flight from Singapore. And so I think I just always want to do, I kind of want to do everything. I think that's maybe my biggest problem, honestly. But for me, making that switch was to see the children kind of like in their elements. And how you said with your daughter being like 3, at that age, 3 or even 2, and sometimes even 1, because now I work with little kids. Kids are very aware, and a lot more aware than like many adults know. But they know what they like, and they know what they don't like. Mm-hmm. So you just see like this kid, oh, she's playing dolls, but in her mind, she's like really taking care of these children. So like, for me, we like pack kids to sleep in our infant room. And so now when they wake up and they go to play with the dolls, they put the covers on the dolls, they pack the dolls. Mm-hmm. They kind of mimic what they see adults do, but also when they have an ambition and a drive to do something, they're going to do it. And so that, I think seeing that in the children that I work with now, it like solidified in my mind, like I need to be a person to help lead children. Sure. And I don't know if it's entirely like in the field of me being in a classroom, like teaching kids, or like when I told my mom about it, she was like being a facility owner, like, because there are some things in my facility that I feel like I don't really like the way that they do it. And so she's like, maybe you need your own facility. You need to open up a childcare center. I'm like, maybe, but there's so many avenues, or even like the international relations. I said, if I go into international relations, I'm going to work with UNICEF so I can make policy for children. And so it's just, there's so many ways to do it, but I know that I want to have an impact on how kids are, because I've seen not the decline, but like the changes in how kids are. And I don't know if it's like worldwide, but I know in America, it's really different how kids are now and how I was as a kid. And I don't feel like I've been not a kid very long. And so to see it happen so quickly, and now kids aren't interested in learning, and I know it probably isn't just in America, but I know that in America, there are fourth graders who like are so far behind like they can't read full sentences and stuff. And so it's like, but the American system, they're just gonna keep pushing them forward at this point. And I don't really pay much attention to like the older kids things, but for the younger children, they recently passed a bill that lowered the milestone. So like at 6 months, you should be rolling onto your stomach, or you should know 2 to 3 word sentences by 1. They changed it to like 1 to 2 words, and that's really bad developmentally for children. And so I just know that I know what should be happening and what is happening are 2 different things. And so it made me want to change that.
Thank you. I think it was really nice to go into the psyche of Gen Zs, right? Trying to figure out what they want to do, like you said. And I think dare to dream. You just dare to dream and you dare to try everything. You know, you try everything, then you experiment, and you know roughly where you're going. But I think the most meaningful part was the impact on someone, right? And when you see that impact and you see what the difference you can make, it makes a lot of meaning for you. Yeah, and I think most of adulting not easy, right? Adulting is not easy. Thank you so much. There's another question, yeah?
Actually, a comment. You know, when you're saying you got all the dreams and keep a journal, because with God, we serve a God who actually He created us. You know, and all the things that we are, the world may not be ready. You know, because it's like circling, and then we might have detours because our parents want to channel us in different directions. You know, there's no mistake with God. There's no wastage. So, like, you know, you're saying you got assigned to a classroom, and they're all by turns. You know, and then now you go, you know, to the early parts with your, you know, observation, and you know, there's nothing random about where you start and how the picture comes together. When you have those building blocks, and then you know the challenges for learning now, you know, and or the push to AI, the world is very, very different because of technology, but then also what makes us human. And then we are always, the danger is that we are in a society, a secular society that discounts God. There's no need for God. But then how are we, you know, to be the light, to be the salt, and to say that yes, you know, there is a God and we are made in His image. So however your life path goes, with God it's a big adventure. But you know that you're secure because He doesn't make any mistakes. And in His perfect time, His perfect will, when it's all woven together, every bit, you know, every pain that you go through, you don't want to go through the pain again. But it makes you in a place that you can actually reach out to somebody who needs your TLC, your hand to guide along. Thank you for sharing.
I homeschool my son, so your greatest figure is your childcare teacher, your role model, right? And then your mom. I think your mom guides you very well.
Yeah, and she
was very brave to just pull you out where you show no interest.
Yeah.
And then put you back when it's time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder how to keep going. I was like, oh, you should keep homeschool. She's like, no, I don't homeschool high schoolers. I was like, no, she just put me back in the school.
She knows when. Yeah. Interesting. Any more comment?
She never answered about how she played her hair.
What? She very fast.
I can answer. I do my hair myself. I just get like colored hair and braided into my actual hair. You can tell like here, like you can see where my hair is. But
She used something else to go in.
Yeah.
She used something else to go in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your hair.
I don't use real hair. Real hair is a lot more expensive.